Hi, welcome to the Funnel Fiesta. Today, we're going to talk about how to funnelize your show, whether that is a podcast, a live stream show, a YouTube series. We're going to talk about how you can funnelize the crap out of it. Now, before I get into the topic, I need to share this link because you could probably think about the Funnel Fiesta as a type of show. Really, because it might be a limited series, but I'm doing a consistent content drop over a period of time, which does have a very consistent CTA. But before I get into that, I need to share this funnelized show in the event invite. Let's see, I got that there, and then into the group. Now, we had a lot of new members into the group, so if you're watching this, thank you. I decided to do the live stream into the group as opposed to my business page as I've been doing, just because I wanted to make sure that all the new members could get to see some of this and get a notification so you guys don't miss out. Now, I think I am done with my... Okay. Cool. I think I've done all my sharing. So we are ready to rock and roll on this topic. So let's talk about how you can have a show even if you're not Oprah, which I know for a lot of you guys, whenever I think of a show, for someone who's like a coach or a consultant, my first thought is that talk show style with like Oprah or, like Sally Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake. I know that's dating me, but for my money's worth, I feel like the 90s were really the golden age in talk shows. And I know that's what a lot of people think about. Oh, I can't really have a show. I don't have a production. I don't have a bunch of, I guess, like a team or a makeup artist. The cool thing about the internet now is that everybody can have some sort of show. Now, you might be wondering, what do I mean by show? I mean online show to kind of be any sort of continuous and connected series of content. So that could be a podcast. It could be a weekly live stream on Facebook. It could be an ongoing YouTube series. It could be a, like maybe a monthly Twitch stream. It could be Insta stories, whatever. It's just one of those pieces of signature content that's actually ongoing. It has a regular, consistent routine. Now, you might be wondering, what do I mean by signature content? I love the idea of being able to do it all. However, for most of us people who have a business, or even if we've been in this business game a long time, having some sort of signature content to kind of keep doing, to maybe backlog, that actually can be so helpful because a regular show can, pretty much give both you and your audience some sort of routine. That's one of the difficult things about running your own business is that sometimes it's hard to build your own routine, to build your own rhythms, especially when you're a newcomer because you want to do it all. Having like one piece of consistent signature content that rain or shine, you always do, that's so helpful for one, building up the routine for your audience so they anticipate, oh, okay, it's Tuesday at, 7 p.m. It's going to be, this time for the Susie Q brand specialist show, what have you. It also builds up that routine for you and it simplifies your editorial calendar. You don't have to struggle to like think about what you're going to do or what content you're going to create if you know that, okay, I have a weekly show and then I take the transcription from that, I modify it into a blog post, I do this, I do that, I provide Twitter quotes, whatever. Having a weekly series of some kind can actually just be really the workhorse for your entire content creation calendar. Now, the cool thing about having, whether it is a podcast, a live stream, either on Facebook or YouTube, just like a regular edited series, whatever, the best thing about that is that you can repurpose that in so many different ways. So you could take a live stream show, it can be transcribed and it can be turned into maybe some blog entries. those blog entries can be, all Pinterestified, and ready to be pinned. Those transcribed episodes can also be edited, more completely into maybe an ebook that can be shared on Amazon. You can also take, just the audio of a show and you can put it on iTunes. There's so many ways that you can use a live stream show. It's why usually in this group, weekly, I do something called the LinkedIn Lowdown. I'm taking a break from that right now just because I'm doing the Funnel Fiesta, and there's no point in having those go together. The cool thing about having a show like the LinkedIn Lowdown is that in between events like this, in between free challenges, in between webinar promotions and stuff like that, I always can rely on that regular piece of content to just go on through. So I'm not doing a whole lot of mental lifting. I can set up my whole schedule at a glance, and sometimes I can even, maybe create some extra episodes and have them drop in case I'm going to be on vacation or something. I'm not always continually reinventing the wheel, and that's super helpful. The thing is, for a lot of these strategies, I'm doing that myself. I've already had all of my episodes collected. I'm going to rip them, the audio from them, make them into a podcast, et cetera, et cetera. So I already have that going on. The cool thing about having a signature piece of content is the fact that it's easier to do that brand recognition. When I first started my business is a Capricorn. It was born January of 2017. And when I first started, I made it a goal to launch something at least once a month because I, didn't really know what I was doing. I had a lot of experience working online. I had a lot of experience freelancing. I had a lot of experience doing, different online work, but I hadn't really been able to organize myself. I hadn't really figured out what I specifically did. I also just didn't realize, the diversity of how you can present yourself online. I ended up taking courses, shaping myself up. But for me, I can study a lot, I can research a lot, and that works. But until I actually fully know, I kind of had to do it. I wish it wasn't the case, but I'm literally that person who has to touch the stove and be like, oh, it's hot, because I'm a doer. That's how I live. So I made it a point to launch something new every month because I was still trying to figure out my brand. I was still figuring out what I could offer. I could offer so much as a freelancer, whether that was resume writing. I've worked on websites for people. I've done copywriting. I've done just regular content writing. I've self-published, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many things, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I launched something new every month. That gave me a lot of good skills, but the problem is that a lot of my offers were a little bit scattered. So it was hard for people to put a pin on exactly what I did. The cool thing about having something that's a consistent show, especially if you have multiple brands, if you have multiple things that you're doing, is that you are creating a real solid brand, a real solid visual. It's giving people a lot of consistency in what to expect from you in that arena. So if you're somebody who has multiple things, as opposed to trying to create a bunch of different content for maybe your 2, 3, 4 brands, think about one piece of signature content. And of course, that should be something that is aligned with what you like to do. Throughout the Funnel Fiesta, I have given both very specific, this is funnel knowledge for everybody, but also I've given a lot of content ideas that are really optional. You don't need to specifically have a webinar or a podcast or this or that. You want to go with the type of content creation that actually gels with your talents, your interests, and what you actually like to do. So with a live stream show, you don't have to have it be the same as what I'm doing here. It doesn't need to look like Marie Forleo's show, Marie TV, or anything like that. You want it to be something that you can do on the regular, that you enjoy doing. It should be something that you should develop pretty quickly, a system to either outsource some of the tech if it needs editing, or try to keep it to a minimum. That's why a lot of people do like having a live stream show on Facebook, because unlike a YouTube series or a podcast, they don't really need an editor or what have you. Just think about what makes sense for you, because having something that you can do on a routine that is consistently adding to your backlog of content that can be repurposed, that really just makes you like stand out, and also kind of builds a very solid and consistent, like I guess, reputation, routine in your audience mind. That's so useful for your funnel, because you can easily integrate that sort of show into your content, into your funnel. You can do it really simple. How simple? The simplest way to ensure that your funnel, that your show always has a good, like, I guess, like maybe a slide into the funnel, is to make sure that you have one consistent URL that is used in a CTA from the very beginning. So what you can do with that, like, here's an example. For my podcast, I have at the very end of the show, I tell people, the listeners, to go check out job seeker resources at cool.careerkickstartacademy.com. I've been using that from the beginning. Sometimes I have that link forward to different offers that I'm running at the time, or to an evergreen offer. That way, if people are listening on the show, they're seeing that in the show notes, they're seeing that in the blog entries, they're seeing that in the iTunes description, wherever that is. That link will lead people, no matter where they are accessing that content, to the same place. People will see your show out of order. People will watch old episodes. People will do weird Google searches. People will find you in ways you really can anticipate only maybe 50% of. You never know how people might find you. So you want to make sure that your consistent CTA, and I don't just mean the words, I mean the actual link, the actual URL. Most of you guys who have websites, you can take one static URL at your website and make sure that always forwards to either an evergreen offer or to your latest offer. You want to make sure that is a consistent link that you are using all over the place, because if you're always using the same, if you're always using like a different URL, whether that is to a latest offer, evergreen offer, some sort of freebie opt-in, whatever you're doing, as you keep developing your live stream show or your podcast or whatever, you're going to come up to the fact that you're going to have a lot of episodes. You can't change all the links on all the platforms, in all the places, every time you have a new freebie. It's just impractical. It's going to be something where you're going to have a bunch of bad links or out-of-date stuff, and that's not going to serve you, because you want to make sure, no matter where people are consuming your content, no matter where they're coming, no matter what time of day, no matter the circumstances, that they can all opt in to the same automated sequence, so you can make money while you're sleeping, while you're doing other stuff, that part of it just takes care of itself. So you want to make sure that you have one consistent link. The next thing that you can do to keep integrating your show into your funnel is to breathe life into new episodes. Make sure that you're always sharing them. I'm always surprised to see people who have really long-running live streams and stuff like that, where they never reshare old material. And a lot of the stuff that people are doing, like, they're doing very interesting live streams, they're having interesting guests, they're talking about very cool stuff, but they're not resharing. They're just creating something, it goes into the void, and then the effort is wasted once the algorithm updates and pushes that from their followers' feeds. You can regularly reshare, whether it's the content itself, maybe a blog entry about it, show notes about it. You can reintegrate, your content into maybe a longer post, whatever. Use something like Social Bee or Buffer or Recur Post to just automatically keep sharing the stuff. I personally use Social Bee, and how I use that is that literally I have just a bank of old podcast episodes. Right now, I think I'm getting closer to 50 episodes, and they're always just sharing automatically. They share on Monday and Saturday, those old episodes on my LinkedIn, and then when new episodes happen, they get shared. But I definitely see that every time I share an old episode of my podcast, downloads go up. People get to know me. People get another opportunity to binge on my content. So if you're not resharing your stuff, and a lot of people aren't. I follow a lot of people online. I notice a lot of people in groups who are posting very consistently, and they're not really posting their greatest hits again. Another thing you can do to integrate a show into your funnel is to modify and cross-post it to different platforms. So a live stream show on Facebook can be reposted on YouTube and then later converted into a podcast that can go onto iTunes. That can later become an ebook that goes onto Amazon. Yay! It's like a circle of content. You can be everywhere. Which, for a lot of marketers, that's exactly what you want to do, because the more more leads you can get into an automated funnel, the higher chance that the more people that you can get convert. So for a lot of funnels, when it goes from awareness to actual conversion, you're really looking at conversions of maybe like between 1 to like 15%. And that decreases the higher your offering is, the more niche it is. So you want to make sure that you're sending more people to that funnel, because that's going to increase the amount of people who are actually going to buy. Even if the conversion percentage might not change, you're still going to get more cold traffic warmed up by you. And even if they don't convert quickly, they're still kind of going to be in your orbit. I know me personally, it takes me a while to make a high-end buying decision. I was on Kim Luna's mailing list for like 3 years before I did Be True Brand You. Sometimes it takes a while. So you can really use a signature piece of content in so many different ways. In fact, I really suggest that most business newcomers try to create some sort of long-running signature piece of content, like a live stream show or a podcast, so they can create and they can start building their content backlog without the overwhelm of all the possibilities of content creation. Because a lot of new entrepreneurs, they don't have a lot of time, they don't know what to work on. If you just kind of work on, okay, I'm going to have this weekly live stream, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you will build up enough skills and confidence and, just a backlog of content that by the time you feel really confident and comfortable and your business is growing and your funnel's converting, then you can expand, but you'll already have a really good foundation to work with. So that's a little bit about how to funnelize your show. Let me know the questions that you have. If you are watching the replay, please make sure that you just drop your comments. I'd love to hear them, and just let me know. Are you funnelizing your show? Do you have a show? What is your signature piece of content? And I'd love to hear about it. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and as always, I'm Sami Gardner, your LinkedIn specialist. Bye!